So we talked about. Oh, sup. Sorry. Uh, so we talked about in our previous episode a while back about the theory. We talked about the expansion, right, of the planet and our density, and how the whole point to the system is, if it gets too dense, it like collapses. But if it's meant to expand, we're supposed to be going this direction, not this direction. And if it finds out it's going this direction, then it's gonna be like, all right, let's start over again. But if it's going this direction, then we're good, right? And that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be working together to make that happen. We're supposed to all be ascending the consciousness. It's a marvelous thing to watch, you know. I frequent certain places on the internet sometimes, just watching people discuss and learn all together. And it's just amazing, like, the mind of humanity maturing and learning all of these things together. And it's uh, interesting being a guy that understands certain parts of the stuff that seemingly others don't. And it's not like don't make me special or nothing. It's a pain in the ass, if anything. But you get to witness, like, you know the people that know. You know what I mean? Like, there's people online and stuff, and it's like, that guy knows, that chick knows, that chick knows, that dude over there knows, all these people over here know. You know the people that know. The problem is when it comes to, and it's my whole goal in life, what I've been working on, the reason that I work on my paper, is because, like I said, there's tons of people that know. This world is filled with people that know the truth. They know how it works. There's guys that can do intricate diagrams that absolutely show how every single thing works. And if that person handed that intricate diagram to the right person, a person that can read that and understand it because they have the knowledge, then that person would, be able to understand what they were trying to get across by the diagram. But you hand it to the normal average Joe, and they're going to be like, what's this? What are these scribbles? You know? So there's plenty of people that know. That's not the issue. The issue is the communicating it, the showing others. And that's one of the things that I have obsessively dedicated myself to, is trying to find a way to explain this to people. And I'm not talking about it in some Neil deGrasse Tyson sort of way where it's like I'm taking all of the stuff that they teach in, like, science class or on YouTube and normal stuff, and then just finding a different analogy for you guys to relate to the information or something. That's not it at all. Because it's about interpreting their data. And they have a complex interpretation of that data. So you have to, and as much as they hate, and by they, this isn't an ambiguous they, science and scientists, a lot of scientists hate the whole Feynman idea of or was it Einstein? I think both were accredited with saying the whole, if you can't explain it to a sixth grader or fifth grader, then you don't understand. Uh, and some people are annoyed and or get annoyed and frustrated by that because it seems like such a tall order to say that about stuff, and sometimes things do need complicated descriptions for things, um, and that's great and all, but it doesn't help when it comes to quantum physics, and there's a particular reason for that. It's because it's so simple. It, you can see what I'm doing there. Like, it's a thing that gets complicated quick, we'll just say. It starts out simple, but it gets complicated quick. And that's part of the problem, uh, is that people want to jump right into the details of stuff. It's a problem I've always had as an artist. When you're blocking stuff out, everybody loves doing that. They want to go straight to the details, the thing that they enjoy the best, the thing that excites them. Like, usually it's the face or something like that, but that they might have some other part of the character that they really enjoy drawing, and then they get affixed on that part, and then the whole rest of the drawing is inconsistent with it and gets all wonky. Obviously, when people get better at drawing, that's not an issue, but um, that's the thing, is we'll tend to focus on the details and lose our place with the blocking out portion of stuff. And it's important to do that. So when we're talking about quantum physics at the quantum level, that's the easiest, simplest part of the stuff. So you gotta um, focus on that. I forget what, like, I'm going off on a tangent, but there's a point to this episode. All right, and the whole point is we were talking about that expansion sort of stuff, trying to get the planet to expand. So it's part of the reason behind in the Bible when they say be fruitful and prosper, or fruitful and multiply. That one, where it's like all about procreating. Well, there's a reason for that. And there's a reason there's no concern for overpopulation and stuff like that in the Bible and in other holy books. It has to do with life and and like revering that sort of thing. Having like reverence for life and making sure that you respect it and that you don't throw it away, and it's something that you cherish and wish to cultivate and to respect and stuff. It's very, very important, because that is what that's what brings about the growth in the universe, and what continually makes it perpetuates itself. It's life. So it's very important, and that is why things are taboo that have to do with snuffing out life. Now, everyone's gonna argue about. I know how people do when they talk about like biblical stuff. They argue all the time that God in the Bible was cruel in the Old Testament, and certain things, it doesn't seem like God revered life and stuff like that. uh, you got to go back and watch some of my older episodes to kind of understand what it is that I believe. But there's a buffer in between God that makes it so that there are decisions made on our lives that affect our lives and how long we get to live them and things like that. That, you know, uh, is carried out by another force that, you know, is in charge of that sort of thing. Um, but the point is I'm trying to make is things like abortion are big no-nos. And the people use a lot of times the those niche sort of instances where there are complications or there is SA victim or something like that to as an excuse for allowing that sort of thing. But the, there's a reason why certain things should be restricted, not just taboo. And when it comes to making that sort of a thing illegal, uh, there are certain decisions that are better for the whole to be a sort of thing where, as the collective, we have agreed that that is bad to do, that, you know, it shouldn't be done unless there are incredible circumstances that would require that to be the case. Um, because, above all things, above even your own life, that is a thing you should allow in. Because we've already talked about the reincarnation thing. If there's the reincarnation thing, then what? I mean, you know, everyone's all clingy to their life and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's either me or this baby. Well, man, maybe it was God's plan to bring that baby in. He needed to, that is the sort of stuff that's like divine intervention. We can imagine it like someone going through a character creator in like Skyrim or something like that and loading the character up, and then like the world goes to load, but then it boots him off and it scrubs his character, and now he needs to go back to the character creator and recreate the character again. Like that would be a pain in the ass. That's like a god designing a person to go into the world, and then he's like, all right, I'm loading this up, and then boom, denied. you know uh and that's whack. So the thing of it is people are gonna bitch about that and act like, oh, well, that's what you believe. You uh probably think people are gonna go to HE double hockey sticks if they kill their unborn and stuff like that. Well, like I said, it's a direction. It makes it so that you head in a certain way and you're headed that direction if you're off having those things, certainly willy-nilly. Um, but like I said, you'll say it's what you believe, but the truth is the truth, and lies burn away. Eventually, it will become all known what the heck is going on with what, and the importance of life, and all of this different stuff. It will be revealed, and what are you going to do if and when all of a sudden it's revealed that that is the case? This isn't like a official like public debate or something where there's some rules or some crap like that where it's like I can't say what I just said, like the what if or whatever. Because like I said, man, it's gonna come to light whether you like it to or not, whether I'm saying this stuff or not, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Nothing nothing can be done about it. And speaking of, like, there's plenty, probably next episode or something like that, that I do want to talk about some stuff that I think is going to happen. Like, I'm pretty sure I talked about prophets in one of my episodes. And like I said about prophets, uh, prophets become that. You know, I mean, in some sense, a god or something like that would know that a person was going to become something like that because of their view of time and stuff like that. But from our perspective, it's something that a person, first of all, chooses to step into by speaking up and saying the thing, first of all. But second of all, it's a thing that always bears two paths. A person becomes a prophet through what they say being proved correct. If it's not proven correct, then they're just a kook, man. They just said some weird stuff. They're never written in the history books. Nothing like that happens. But if they say like a big old claim and they do it all like publicly and they're all like, hey, this, they get on a soapbox and start talking about some stuff. And then all of a sudden it comes to pass. Now, written in the history books as one of those things. You know what I mean? I think I talked about it in the other episode. I have a book on prophets and prophecies, and it does outline some like very specific things that makes a prophet a prophet. But they're more like magical things, magical interpretations and stuff. Anyways, I think I'm gonna cap this episode off here. I was just talking about that whole making life good for all people, and cultivating life, and that being such an important thing for humanity, is to look at that as super incredibly precious and to never wish harm upon life, down to the smallest bug, anything at all that has life. We should care about it. Now, does that mean we should be vegetarians and all that stuff? Not necessarily. Like, there are the whole rules in the Bible that have to do with how they eat the meat and stuff like that. And there was a reason for that. And there's a reason why cows are called cows and come from the word ka in Egyptian and stuff. It's like all of this life goes into life and propagates life and adds to life, and it's a thing that does that expansive stuff. You know what I mean? Things fuse together when we eat and stuff like that. Like, it's a fusion of lives that carry things on. We take things that don't have a choice and bring it along with our choices, along with the journey. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm capping it here. I hope you guys are all doing good. I love you, and I hope these videos help somebody out. Alright, talk to you later. Bye.